Hey, this is Rich Knapp with Lynx Heli Innovations. What we have here today is I'm going to do a build of all the Lynx parts that they make for the 300X. This is going to be a full build of all Lynx parts for it though. I'm going to be building the standard length. Here's here's the canopy I'm going with. It's by Lynx. Alright. I'll be using 450X 35 amp speed controller with the Castle Creations 10 amp BEC on it. I'll be using the AR 7200 at this time, and I never had an issue with the tail servo, so at this time I'm going to use the 450X tail servo. It's the same one as the 300X. I'm going with Metal Gear cyclic servos. These are EXIs. They're, oh man, I can't remember the number on them again. D213Fs. I'm going to use them for my cyclics. Yeah, this is the whole set for the 300. I'm going with the DFC head. Now I have the stock, or the 250 millimeter blades, but I have in front of me, I also have 275 millimeter blades, and the belt. I'm going to be stretching it later to 275. I already have them parts there. Here is the frame. I'll be opening it up and showing it more in detail later. I'm doing the one-way bearing for the bearing. And I have my my metal servo mounts for the tail. I'm going with 11 tooth pinion on the slant gear, and I'm going with Lynx's 4100 kV motor. You'll see it better when I go to install it. And then I'm going with the profile like I have on my 450. Let's see, they're profile 5 with the Red Devil. I'll get started on it. I'm going to have a link in the description of this video. There's going to be a link going to a gallery for all the photos. That way I don't have to worry about too many attachments and stuff like that in some of the forums and sites I'm on. But I'll get busy on this build, and we'll do a review later. As far as my flight, we just got hit with snow the other night, so now my maiden flight might be a little bit held off. But okay, let's see, is there anything else here I missed? No, that's pretty much it. So we'll get started on the build. I did buy, I did get the tail case in the combo kit. So this is all, everything is in here. They come up to be a little more economical. I did get the DFC head in the combo kit, so that's a little more economical by getting it in the combo kits instead of buying it all individual. I got my tail blades here. I kind of changed up my colors here and there. I kind of seen the end result in my head, and I think you're going to be really happy with how it looks when it's finished. So it's not all Red Devil, it's not all silver. It's kind of put together in the scheme here in my head here. So alright, I'll get to busy on the build here, and I'll touch here and there. I'll insert clips. Feel free to pause it and look at other items. I'm going to probably do a few things a little different than the manual from my 550 build, my 550X. I kind of learned a couple little tricks as far as for alignment of the bearing blocks and stuff like that. So I'll be going ahead and I'll probably be utilizing those little tricks in this build. And I'll be probably doing the same thing when I get my 450X carbon fiber frame from Lynx. I'll probably be utilizing some of them tricks during that carbon fiber frame assembly. So, okay, well, I'm going to get busy on this build, and I know you're all anxious to see it when it's done, and I'm anxious to get it up in the air. Okay, here we have the frame here. The gyro, you know, your flybarless unit pad, Velcro. Now we'll go ahead and we'll open the main frame here. Still sealed. Well, obviously I have it upside down. I went with the Red Devil edition, as you see. Got canopy mounts, bearing blocks, motor mount. Here we have our carbon fiber. And we have our manual. So it's a printed out manual. I'm pretty sure it's the same manual that you see on the internet, or I mean on their website, explaining, naming all the parts, step by step on assembly there. And then illustration of you know, your servo horns, the length of your length, and then you know, different options for where you want to put your flybarless units and your speed controller and stuff. So, okay. Now I'll put these off to the side. You won't always see me reading them, but you know, they're right here. They're going to be right here in the corner for my reference. We'll open this up, kind of lay the parts out, take a look at them. My little fumble fingers here. Okay, I'll put that bag there, that way I know that the bag was in there, or that was in that bag. I'll just put that on to the side. Some Lynx decals if you want them. Belly tray. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Just in case anybody's interested. Alright, we're looking at 1.18 millimeter. And it's 0, so we'll go here where it's more of a body to it. Yeah, 1. Oh yeah, 1.2 there, 1.2, yeah. Now this is just a cheap Harbor Freight micrometer, so you might get something a little bit different. 1.2, looks like it's averaging 1.2. 1.2. Oh, it's a little bit thinner. This is 1.05. 1.05. So the side panels seem like they're a little bit thicker at 1.28. I bet you it's properly a 1.25. Now it's a little bit thinner. It depends on where my nose is. I bet you it's overall considered a 1.25. Yeah. Yeah, but and then here I got 1.1, 1.25. Yeah, it kind of depends on where my nippers are. You know, tips. Um, okay, so that's if anybody's interested for miking out of the carbon fiber. There. Mm. Okay, now I'm going to get started. What you want to do is you want to, first off, you want to sand lightly sand the edges. Do it with a mask on. Um, you can also do it under slow running water if you want, and then use wet sandpaper. And that's what I'll be doing because of being winter time in here in Wisconsin. So, right, step one is assembling the guide rollers and the boom braces onto the plate. Now on this plate, pay careful attention because there's a countersunk side and then there's a flat side. The flat side is the side that you're going to mount it to. Now the pieces, they all come with the screws in them. Now what I'll do here is I'll test fit them. Now the rollers go on this short stub. Yeah, I'll test fit my parts and then I'll take the parts out, the screws out, one at a time, and I'll Loctite them with blue Loctite. But I'll just kind of like, test fit them in here. Now these two bearing are boom clamps. They're identical, so it really don't make a difference which one you mount in the front and which one you mount in the back. Now I have noticed with if you do go with the Red Devil edition on parts through Lynx, with the Red Devil edition, you want to give a little more curing time on your Loctite. I generally, I give mine overnight, and that's pretty much been good. Just get that one caught. Specific side, and I can see on the frame, the frame sides are universal, and these are more likely the holes to go through for tightening it. I'll know better when I get it put together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run, just me, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run one clamp. So it clamps from the opposite side. So now this one, the screw's on this side to clamp. I'm going to go ahead and run this one on this side to clamp. That's just me. As far as for torque and stuff like that. Whoop. Now I'm going real gingerly here. Always kind of back thread your screws on these small screws in small aluminum parts. Always run it backwards. like this right here. I'm running it backwards until you feel it drop down into the threads. That way you don't cross thread them, because then you're screwed. That's our first unit. That's for the boom clamp and the rollers. Now I'll go through and I'll take the screws out one at a time. I'll clean them with my alcohol wipes, and then I'll Loctite them with blue Loctite, and I'll come back. We'll go to the next step. Okay, I went through, I did my blue Loctite. Now the one on the roller, I have it, the screw in there, and I have it tight, but I don't have it torqued down yet. There is time to adjust it, for curing. I want to make sure it lines up with the side frame plates. Now, as a note, all these screws that you install should be flush with the carbon fiber. That's why you want to use the countersunk side for the heads. Now the next step will be installing the mounting arms on the lower electronics plate, mount plate, and the battery tray mount plate. So now I'll go through and do the same thing with these as I did with my boom clamps and roller guides, and then I'll be back. So I have them assembled. Now something to take note on is there's a flat side and a round side on these arms, and you want to use the flat side against the carbon fiber, along with the screw on the countersink side. So I got them. I'm going to set them aside. Next step is your canopy mounts. I'm going to be mounting them on here. These little carbon fiber tabs are in one of the little bags. I just dumped them into the tray here. They go on, actually it kind of really in a way don't make a difference which way they go on, but just got to make sure that you put them in the center hole. I'll go ahead and I'll do that, and then I'll come back and start the next step. The next step will be taking our side frames and out of our wrapper the skid mounts, and we'll be mounting the skid mounts onto the frames. Now these are something that I'll go ahead and I'll Loctite them and kind of crank them down, because they're not something that is gonna allow turning and twisting on the frame. Now on these, let's see, I'm pretty sure, yeah, the long screw will go on the front. And then this will mount in like that. Fuddle fingers again. It'll mount in here like that. And then the front one will be the same way. There's there's a long screw that comes with one of these canopy mounts, and then the other canopy mount has two short screws. And the two short screws will go on the front side, the front end, by the battery tray. The long screw mounts will go on the back by the boom mount, and it'll go in like that. And I'll go ahead and because your screw will be mounting down. But now this is my first 300 build. Um, so I've built a 550X, and that flies, that flies awesome. I've never built a small helicopter like this for the carbon fiber frame. So for you guys that are out there, this shows that this can be done individual, for your first time. Now the other frame will look like this, but it'll be a direct mirror image. So yeah, this is the rear skid mount, and that screw sticks through just like that. So, and I'll go ahead and I'll do this one the same way, and I'll do my Loctite, and then I'll come back for the next step. I'd like to bring up a couple ideas now. One, I have the box ahead of me here. I just kind of leaned the one against the box. That way I make sure I make the two sides different. Now, something I forgot to mention is the screw that is real long, you don't Loctite it yet at this time. You put it in, you just lightly tighten it up. That way your other ones will line up. That one's actually for your boom support. So the longer one, don't Loctite it yet, and just just give it a light snug. It does explain that in the directions. But yeah, I stood my one up on side on the frame box, so I made sure I made this one directly opposite. Alright, now we'll go on to the next step, which is page 7, and we'll be mounting these. Now we're going to go through, and what I'm going to do is this stuff, I'm going to lightly mount it without Loctite yet. I'll kind of show you why, once I get it kind of mounted and stuff. So it's all for alignment and making sure that your bearing blocks are square with the shaft and stuff like that. It's just a trick I learned from guys when I built my 550X. But yes, we'll go on and okay, we'll be needing what they call the right side frame, which would be this one here, and we'll be mounting everything on the inside here. So I'll lay it down like this because everything will be mounting on here like that. Now let's see, there was something, which one? Oh, this one here. Some people were asked, I had asked once in posts about it. It goes with the small edge toward the front of the helicopter. It's it's in the directions pretty good, but yeah, it mounts with the small lip toward the helicopter or toward the battery tray. But now go ahead and I'll mount them and come back with the next step. Alright, now I have the other parts assembled on here. Now with me not torquing them down real hard, I was able to kind of turn them to get them to line up with the holes in the frame. Now once I get some of this done, I'm going to go through and tighten every single screw just as if I was doing a pre-flight. Now we're going to get going where we're going to actually feel like we're making some progress. Alright, we're going to be installing the lower bearing block. Now make sure that the bearing is pointing up. You have an underside with a small hole, and then the upper side with the opening for the bearing to get replaced if you have to. And again, um, I'm not going to Loctite it yet. I'm just going to do a light assembly. And we'll be putting on the, bearing blocks, and then we'll also be installing the yeah, if you gotta thread the carbon fiber a little bit, go for it, and it'll clean it up, clean out the hole where it won't be a problem going into the bearing block. Oh, on a side note, I forgot to mention, just like in my other builds, when you use blue Loctite, kind of just roll the Loctite on your finger into the threads. It forces the Loctite down into the threads. I mean, you don't have to, but it's a little tip of what I used to do as a mechanic and all that other stuff. Now, in that little bag that you had, there'll be some supports for the motor mounts, some extra thick carbon, some extra carbon fiber plates for motor mounts. What I'll go ahead and I'll do is I'll grab my motor mount and I'll put that on right away. The nose points to the front of the helicopter. Battery box. They have a little red washer with them, or if you have the regular one, you'll have a silver. Alright, now it goes on just like this. Like a hockey stick, and goes up. That way it kind of bypasses putting the gear in and out. It's they are slotted for adjusting for your lash, your gear mesh. I went with the Red Devil kit because, as everybody knows, I like being different. Okay, that's just put on lightly. Alright, now your center bearing, that goes with the large bearing mount, let's see, facing down. That way it'll be mounted so it's up against your, it'll be up against your, sorry people. That way it'll be up against your gear. Like I said, there's more to my madness. You'll see what it is here in a step or two. Okay. Now this lower bearing block, kind of like a cactus, and the ground goes toward the boom. So it mounts just like this. I didn't leave these loose enough. Yeah, leave your motor mount ones loose enough where you can slide the carbon fiber hockey stick. That way you can line it up with the hole. Because this back hole is more important than the front hole. There. Well, I can put this one back on there. Just for right now. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and I'll do my top bearing block too, as long as you're with me here. Lynx, the Lynx logo goes up, obviously, and then the anti-rotation to the front. Oh no, to the back. I mean, sorry, I pulled my wrong ones over here. You gotta forgive me, I'm a little bit excited about this build. I've been waiting for doing this for quite a while here. Yeah, the anti-rotation goes toward the boom. So, and again, like I said, you know, there's a motive to my madness on why I'm not Loctiting right now. You all find out in a step or two. It's basically pretty easy. What it is once I go to put the other side on, before I tighten up any of the bearing blocks, I'll put the main shaft in. I'll put this back in. I'll put the main shaft in and make sure it slides up and down real smooth. And then I'll go through and with the shaft in, I'll go through and I'll start tightening up the bearing blocks against the frame and stuff. Alright. Okay, that's the end of let's see, what would it be? Step 4. Now we'll go to step 5. Which is where it really gets fun, people. We're gonna put our other side on. Now we make sure that we didn't screw up. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll take all the screws out that can mount up. That way it sits flat. All these screws are the same size, so that one can stay in. Yeah, the cure time for Loctite, you know, it's not like super glue. So you're able to do this and this Loctite still be effective. You know, by you know, going back through to tighten everything up. Okay, I went through and I installed all my screws, and I did have, like on right here right now, where I had to adjust them. It was a good thing that they weren't total tight. I went through and I did, you know, torque down my silver screws because you know, they're aligned for sideways. Now what I'll do is I'll take, like I said, all of my screws are in there loose. Now I'll take my main shaft Put it down through. And maybe I should go the other way. That way I can use it. Nah, it'll stay there. Okay, now that it's in there, she's sliding up and down nice. Now I'll go through and I know that my bearing blocks are squared to the shaft. Now I'll go through and I'll Loctite every single one of these side screws, and I'll Loctite them tight. Okay, went through, everything's Loctite. Good thing I cut away, you would have got bored. Everything's Loctited, and you can see how nice and easy that moves. That's why I put the shaft in first when I go to tighten up the bearings. Now that the bearings I know will run true. Alright, I'll take the shaft back out, put it back in with my head. Okay, now we'll be moving on to step 6. Step 6 is mounting the canopy pins and the anti-roll and the belly tray. Now all this stuff I can go ahead and I'll go ahead and clean and Loctite right away. So I'll go ahead and I'll install these, the anti-roll right in the back, the breakaway canopy mounts. They go hole up, and they go right on these side bearing block mounts. But they go with that hole up, the oval hole up. Okay. Yep, that's where they go. Alright, I'll go ahead and I'll install these. And we'll be right back for the next step. Okay, we got the side posts in. We got the belly plate in. This sucker's sorry. This bugger's really, it's, man, I don't feel any flex in it. Wow. I'm impressed. I am thoroughly impressed. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, I am thoroughly impressed. Alright. Nice and rigid. Alright, now the next step is installing the boom. The boom braces, which go onto these that we didn't Loctite. Let's see, I did yeah. Yeah, these here back ones, that's where the boom supports mount to them. That's why we didn't Loctite them tight the first time. Excuse me. And then the motor, in which, like I said, I'll be doing the Lynx, what was it, 4100 kV. But I'll go ahead and install the boom and the supports right away. Alright, I have the boom in. I got the supports on. Now there's the servo mounts and stuff like that that go on here before you can actually put the boom clamp on and mount it tight. I'll be taking the motor mount out. First I'm going to put my 11 tooth pinion, slant pinion, on my 4100 kV Lynx motor. Now the pinion on the motor, the pinion has to be 14.5 millimeters from the bottom of the motor to the bottom of the pinion. Man, this weather's giving me starting to give me a cough. Alright, let me double check what we got here. Okay, it's just the basic information. I'll have to keep that for down the road. And my pinion, I'm going with the 11. I'm not a real, I'm not a smack flyer or anything like that. I'm more, I'm just gonna slice it. I'm more soft 3D and big, like just scale flying, big sky. The Lynx 41 kV does have a flat spot on it, so that part will be really nice. I'm just going to slip her on for now for just aligning that flat spot. I'll take the grub screw out and after I get a ballpark idea of how far it'll have to be down the shaft. Okay, 14.5. 14.5. Now, from the bottom of the motor to the bottom of the pinion, 14.5. Well, we're gonna go ahead and throw some Loctite on here. Now that I got an idea of roughly how much is going to be sticking out. Right there, 14.5. Okay, now that I got that done, I'm going to mount the motor wires coming forward. Take the motor out. Now I'm probably going to be taking this back out, so I'm not going to Loctite the motor mount because I'm not sure how much play I'm going to have, front to back, as far as for where I need to set it to go ahead and set my valve or my gear lash. So I'll go ahead and I'll mount it on here. But I'm not gonna Loctite it yet. Although, yeah, I guess, yeah, I will be. Because we got, these are all solid mount holes. Yeah, we will be going ahead and Loctite it. So I'll go ahead and I'll mount this. The mount has the 3 holes for on the motor, you know, for extra strength and that. So it's not, it doesn't have the sliding availability on the motor mount, just in the case there. So I'll go ahead and I'll Loctite the motor on the motor mount, and I'll be back. Well, at this point now, I mounted one servo because I wanted to double check and make sure the ones I planned on using were going to fit. I didn't want to look like an idiot on the video. So, okay, mounted the motor. That's still loose in there though. Now I'll move forward and backward. And now I'll go ahead and I'll mount my tail. Pretty much I'm almost at the end of what the actual frame kit. Mounting the servos is pretty much the end of it. And the rest of this will be pretty much just my actual build video for the helicopter. Alright. Now I'm just mounting my servos in here without Loctite right now for the video, and also because I have to go through and do the whole setup, and I might have to remove them for realigning. Well, actually, I know the front servo. I'm gonna have to realign the arm in that once I get center, and pretty much otherwise. Other than that, there's just building your Lynx, which end to end they're supposed to be 36.5, and there's just building them and mounting the servos. That's pretty much the end of the kit build. I'm hoping I can do this without needing a needle nose pliers or anything like that. Come on. Yeah, hard to say with my fingers. And trifocals. Just gotta love getting old. Where is it? Well, on my build, now the kit is pretty much all built. Now the rest is just a plain build. I'll probably just go to pictures from here. I'm going to start building my landing skids. I'll put my hardware on for my tail case, build up the upper head. But as far as for like the frame, that was pretty much it for the build. So I'll just kind of do pictures from here on in. Well, I'm pretty much at the stopping point for tonight. I got the boom on. This is standard length boom. The Lynx slant gear, pulley, Now, I got my servos in there. What I have to do now is I got to go through and then put all my electronics on now. Yeah, this is Rich. Okay, we're back now. After the frame, it was pretty much a build just like you know, with the other components. You know, on the 450, on here, on the 300. Right now, where I'm at is I have my B-Stex temporary mounted because I'm gonna go through and clean up the wiring and that. But I have my my 450 speed controller mounted in the belly, and next to it in the belly is my Castle Creations 10 amp BEC. It looks like it's close to the main gear and stuff, but it's a lot farther away than it looks. Alright. And here's all my wires. Now I went, like I said, everything is Lynx. I went DFC head. And I want to make sure that these won't fly out. Hang them up there, right? I'm running my tests with my blade, or my my 450 size battery. I don't have my plugs yet; they're coming in Friday. Stock blade 450X servo on the tail, and I got my cyclics are the EXI D213Fs. I went through, I set up my transmitter like the 300X and that. I'm running the Lynx 41 kV motor in here. And this is where I'm at so far. I'm gonna, like I said, I gotta clean everything up, but here's for my tests. I'll be setting up pitch and everything like that afterwards. That'll hold on. I was gonna go with leading edge, but I wasn't gonna break the Loctite and everything from Lynx. So I'll go trailing edge until I need to do any repairs. But now I have the Castle Creations BEC set at 4.8 because that's what both my cyclics and my tail are set at. I love how smooth this is. That's where I'm at now. Pretty much it's put the blades on and well, clean up the wiring, put the blades on, set my pitches, and I'm ready to go. So, but that's the that's my 300, my Lynx 250 build. I haven't gotten the stretch yet, so I'll do the stretch, and then it'll be a Lynx 275. All the parts are Lynx except for the boom, the little servo guides, push rod guides, and the push rod. Them are the only items that are not Lynx. Otherwise, everything else is Lynx. Well, servos, but I mean 350 parts. Alright, thank you much, and we'll see you. I'll make another video after I get everything cleaned up, and my test flight, or my maiden. Thank you much. Happy flying.